I'm going to
Call to order.
Call to order.
Yep.
All right.
And then we'll do roll calls. That work for you?
That works for me.
All right. Roll call. Mrs. Eichholz.
Here.
Dr. Hooker.
Here.
Mrs. Johnston.
Here.
Mrs. Lewis.
Here.
Mrs. Singh.
Yeah.
I can't find my agenda. Something weird happened with my email calendar. Everything disappeared. So the meeting disappeared and all the agendas and everything. So
Do you want me to email you one real quick, Eddie?
that would be awesome. I was going to ask you to. Thank you.
Mr. President, do you want a motion to go into executive session?
I would like one of those very much.
Okay.
Actually, sorry, point of order. We need to adopt the meeting agenda first.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adopt is it the regular meeting agenda or the amended?
Regular, Mrs. Lewis.
Regular meeting agenda.
Yep.
Second.
All those in favor? Do we need a roll call on that?
You can do a voice vote on that one.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now I'd love a motion to go into executive session.
Still move. Second.
All right. I don't think we need to vote on that. We just
I'll do a roll call on that one, Dr. Hooker.
Okay. Keep me straight.
Mrs. Singh?
Aye.
Mrs. Eichholz?
Aye.
Mrs. Johnston?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Dr. Hooker?
Aye. Yep.
Okay, we are recording again, and in our session, I'm going to let some guests in the room.
Great, and I'll pull up the agenda here. And we're coming back out of executive session, and I don't see the Pledge of Allegiance on here, but I guess we're not doing that. That's right. Sorry. So we will, when you are ready, Kirk, I'll let you do recognition, correspondence, and announcements.
Just want to make sure really quickly we have everybody in the room.
Yeah, just whenever you're ready. Feel like I'm looking at Billy Cunningham down there with
yes,
future of rock and roll. Bam.
He has such a great voice.
Okay, Dr. Hooker, thank you. So this evening, we would like to take a few moments to recognize some of our students and staff for some amazing work that's been going on over the last month. We're proud to share that 4 of our Indian Hill Elementary School teams placed in the top 10 in the state of Ohio during the annual stock market game. This is a challenge that's sponsored annually by the Alpaugh Family Economics Center through the University of Cincinnati. And our students are competing against adults and college students. And to be able to have these teams finish in the top 10 is pretty impressive. So we've got a host of 3rd graders who have placed in this competition that we're very proud of. And every year I'm amazed at how our elementary students perform in what is really an adult fashioned stock market simulation project that goes on for 4 to 6 weeks. The students are learning economics at that level, at a high level, and their teachers just do an amazing job with them. So kudos to our elementary school teams in the stock market challenge. Also, we'd like to congratulate sophomore Emery Cunningham from IHHS. She has been accepted to the prestigious Nouveau program through the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra. Very proud of Emery. She is one of the leaders in our orchestra and plays the violin and is just an amazing performer. And we'll look forward to seeing her perform with the CSO moving forward. We also want to congratulate 4th grader Balin Araguez, who has recently worked with our high school Spanish students. And get this, Balin has done cooking lessons for the Spanish students at the high school to teach them how to make some important dishes from her home country, and took the initiative to create that project at the elementary school and then share it with the high school world language program there. So congratulations to Balin. Finally, our mock trial program continues to excel, and has moved on from districts with a undefeated 6-0 record. They'll be heading to states very soon. And we had a number of our high school students earn witness awards, as well as some outstanding attorney awards and the tournament MVP, Tacey Hutton. So congratulations to all of our high school mock trial students again for their work at the mock trial competition at districts.
Wonderful. If you'd like to continue with your superintendent's report.
Sure. We have several personnel actions and tuition reimbursements tonight that I'd ask you to entertain under letter A1. Those approvals are for our slate of spring coaches and supplementals for activities. We also have under number 2 some tuition reimbursements. And then letter B, I think, is a separate, we should look at that separately, Dr. Hooker. So if we could at first entertain 6A, 1 through EE, and number 2, A through C at this time.
I would entertain a motion to adopt or to accept those.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Davis?
Is that Mrs. Singh with the second?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Mrs. Eichholz?
Aye.
Mrs. Singh?
Aye.
Mrs. Johnston?
Mrs. Johnson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Dr. Hooker?
Aye.
And Dr. Hooker, next up is item 6B, and I would just like to take a moment to thank the leaders of our IHEPO, the Indian Hill Educators Professional Organization. Amy Campa could not be with us tonight, but she will be sending along a note of thanks. She's with her senior daughter at an important basketball game tonight. So we wanted to just take a moment and share that we are grateful to working with our partners in IHEPO, and that we were able to entertain an MOU with the organization to continue those relationships moving forward, and would ask you to entertain 6B at this time.
I would entertain a motion to adopt 6B.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Eichholz?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Johnston?
Aye.
Mrs. Singh?
Aye.
Dr. Hooker?
Aye. Thank you, Kurt. Treasurer's report, Mr. Davis.
For the treasurer's report this evening, I have the approval of the minutes from the January 12th, 2021 regular meeting. Actually, that should say regular and organizational meeting. I apologize for that. Item B is to approve the financial reports for the month ending January 2021. Approval of one contract. It's an annual contract we enter into with the Hamilton County Developmental Disabilities Services. That is $50,000 per student served for those two schools. This annual agreement actually covered one student for school year 2021, and we don't know how many, if any, that will offer for 2022. Item D is the acceptance of 3 donations. Stuart and Sarah Aitken to Powwow, $1,000. The IH Foundation to Cross Country for $1,000. And finally, for the Arrington family in Prasco, it's CPR and schools training kit, estimated value at $8,000. As always, we appreciate those donations that further the cause of our educational processes here at Indian Hill Schools, and we especially thank those people in their gifts to us. So that concludes my report for the evening.
Thank you very much. I would entertain a motion to accept items A through D of the treasurer's report.
So moved. Second.
Is that Mrs. Singh on the first?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, I'm sorry. The screen didn't pop up. Mrs. Johnston?
Aye.
Mrs. Eichholz?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Singh?
Aye.
Dr. Hooker?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Other business, we have the Operations Committee minutes. Does the Operations Committee want to say anything at this point?
No, well, item C is really
right
on with operations.
Finance Committee, I don't really have anything to report other than our minutes. So let's move, if we could, to item C, resolution to enter into contract with MSC and Associates, or MCS and Associates, sorry, and contingent upon the bond levy passing.
On a motion, Eddie?
Do we have some discussion first?
Or did you want to do C and D together, or do you want to do them separate?
We can do them both together. Separate. Okay.
The discussion, if you wanted to have the discussion with C and D, that would be perfectly fine, but we need to do the resolution separately.
All right. So what do you think? Should we have a discussion first, or you want to have a motion first, guys?
I would just say that Mr. Mendenhall is not available right now for the Zoom meeting with us this evening. However, he had planned to be here, Dr. Hooker, but in general, again, to review this particular resolution and contract we're talking about, as you mentioned, this is contingent upon us being successful with the bond and levy project before we would move forward with this contract. And our owner's agent, of course, is an advocate for the district who would help us in all the pre-bond planning phases from this point forward, and has already kind of hit the ground running, helping the operations committee and the administration to do some research and homework to get prepared for the next phase of our pre-bond planning.
And this contract has been reviewed by finance, operations, and our legal counsel.
Correct.
So we can continue to have discussion, but I would entertain a motion to adopt this resolution entering into the contract.
So moved. So moved. Second.
All right. Who was the second on that one?
Nancy.
All right, thank you. Mrs. Johnston?
Aye.
Mrs. Eichholz?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Singh?
Aye.
Dr. Hooker?
Aye. Resolution D, resolution to enter into contract with MSA and Associates for $3.9 million for design, architecture, and contingent upon, again, passing of the bond and levy. And I have seen this, but it's not attached in the one I have. I assume it is now available via hyperlink, or will
it
be.
It is, Dr. Hooker.
I've seen it ad nauseum, and I think most of the people, again, this has been reviewed by council. It's been reviewed by 2 committees, but I think that Chris or Bill, one of the 2, was going to kind of talk about the timing and how this would all work out. Is that correct, Chris or Bill?
Yeah.
Dr. Hooker,
mm-hmm.
Should we have a separate resolution to pass the pre-bond amount?
No, we were going to just adopt the contract tonight. We don't have to deal with that tonight, is my understanding. Is that correct, Nancy and others?
Right. What we're voting on right now is the contract that's contingent upon passing the levy.
But we don't have to deal with that. We're going to have a committee look at what needs to be spent pre-bond and not. But that's not tonight.
Correct. So what are we passing tonight?
We are adopting the contract with them contingent upon passage of the bond levy. This is basically the full price if everything happens, but we only are going to pay for what we do.
Okay, thank you.
And that's part of what Bill was going to talk about. So if you can kind of clarify that, that'd be great. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's a great and important question.
Yeah, so I think we should entertain the resolution if that's okay, and then continue that discussion. And then I had asked Bill if he would share some information about next steps with the group. Dr. Hooker, if that's okay with you.
So go ahead and yeah, we're entertaining it. I'm not sure we want to take a vote until we've had the discussion.
Okay. Bill, again, is here along with our representatives from MSA. And Bill, do you want to just maybe give us a high-level overview of what you see as next steps?
Well, yeah, I think, one of the next steps too, and I know we're coming in tomorrow to have a conversation with the administration, is to really kind of map out, working with Mike Mendenhall to help do some preparation for the district ahead of the bond levy campaign. There's some due diligence and other items that, Chris has been really diligent with Mike and all of us. And so that outlining all of those components for the board and the district to review and consider. I think, Eddie, you alluded to it kind of after tonight. And then help to kind of outline some additional pre-engagement efforts, some additional due diligence, some additional conversations. There's been a lot of good dialogue right now with Jim and operations and the administration talking about, transition scenarios if the bond issue passes. And so I think really right now, I think this provides the overall framework. And then it's just working with the administration to give you, the board, and your subcommittees the information to make kind of the next step decisions, Eddie, as you alluded to,
right.
What, after this is in place, looking at the different scenarios for pre-bond, how far does the board want to move forward with that ahead of the vote, and then trying to determine the items that you do pre-bond, make sure they have value and equity long-term for the district, and provide information that ultimately you will need down the road, depending upon the scope and, when the bond issue passes or when you do major construction on any of the campuses. That makes sense. Chris, anything to add on our side?
And as was said previously, it allows us to let the bond people voting know what they're voting on. There's certain things that have to happen for them to know what the heck they're voting on. So, but that will be worked out by probably the operations committee. Operations and finance will meet with you and work with you to figure these things out.
Yeah. And, we serve at the pleasure of the board. And so our job is to really provide you all with the data and the information, coordinating with your administration to help you have the tools to make decisions on, what to do pre-bond versus post-bond. And that's valid decisions. And a lot of districts we work with do some level of pre-bond effort. And usually it's tied, and we can have discussion down the road. It's usually tied into expectations of the community as far as how soon after a bond issue passes something happens. Does that, and we can talk more in depth about that moving forward. And we're happy to provide that data at any time. You give us a call and we'll come on out or hop on.
But just to clarify Elizabeth's point is the contract is the not to exceed, if we want to call it that, kind of look at it that way. And we only pay for what we get.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it's a very important point, and I think the taxpayers want to know that.
Yeah, this is an overall framework for the total project should the bond issue pass. And there are, then the board will determine what to do ahead of the bond issue, and we'll help you make those decisions.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great.
As I understand, Dr. Hooker and Kirk and Bill, that those meetings with the various committees, operations and finance, will happen post this meeting prior to our next March meeting. And then it's likely that there will be a recommendation by both operations and finance committees to the board as a whole on what pre-bond work we would be doing. Is that really kind of the process after tonight? Do I understand that correctly?
Correct.
Very good.
Okay.
If we could, then I would entertain a motion to adopt item D under other business, the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, who was the second on that one?
Ms. Singh.
Thank you. Mrs. Johnston?
Aye.
Mrs. Singh?
Aye.
Mrs. Eichholz?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Dr. Hooker?
Aye. And then is this going to be Kirk or somebody else for update on vaccinations of staff?
Yeah, we'll just give you a short summary, board members. As you know, you allowed us to enter into a great partnership in the fall with Tri-Health. and we have been working actively with TriHealth and their staff to put together our Brave vaccination program. We are grateful for the opportunity that our educators and our support staff members are going to begin their vaccinations. Round 1 is this weekend, beginning February 13. We will be administering almost 400 vaccinations at 2 different sites with the TriHealth staff over the course of the next 2 weekends in round 1. And that will be the Pfizer vaccine. And then our staff will return for a second round 3 weekends later. And we have also communicated out to the community that in anticipation of some of the side effects or symptoms of those shot administrations, that we will be hosting some calamity days in the future on the Mondays following those vaccine weekends. And we appreciate you approving those and allowing us to communicate those out at the end of last week. We've had a robust response from our staff. Many of our certified and classified staff members have signed up and already set up their appointments and are very excited and grateful for this opportunity. And Terry Bremer Smith and Rob Dunham have been the point people at TriHealth that have just done an absolutely amazing job helping us and partnering with our staff. Jim Nichols and Melissa and Mick have all been a big help to help collect information and share it back and forth. And of course, Heather Higdon has allowed us to get information out quickly to our staff and the community. So we really appreciate everybody's help to make this vaccine program work. And our partners at TriHealth have just done an amazing job.
Can I just, one question that I just thought of, what about our cleaning staff that is a third party? Are they going to be getting vaccines because they work in our buildings?
Everybody who, that's a great question, Dr. Hooker. Everybody who spends a majority of their time on our campus working with children or staff has been offered this opportunity to work with our group. And so we have a number of support staff members who are included in that list.
Great, thank you. Any other questions from other board members about the vaccinations? Great job. This is very exciting. We need to, I'm done with COVID if you're not. So we need to get done with this stuff.
We are grateful.
Yeah. All right. If there's nothing else there, I'd like to move to public commentary. Do we have any public commentary, Mr. Davis?
I received none, Dr. Hooker.
Thank you very much. Before I adjourn, I do want to thank MSA. Thank you. Welcome aboard. I'm very excited. You gave us a very good price. You are going to do a great job, and thank you for being a partner with us again.
Thank you for your trust. We appreciate it.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Everybody.
We'll see some of you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, everyone.